I hate fitness, and you might be wondering a couple of different questions. One, you're a fitness channel, how can you hate fitness? Good question. Second question, who the fuck are you, and why would I even listen to you? Which, again, a very good question, and one you should be asking of all the content that you consume on social media and YouTube, because there are a lot of people out there pretending to be coaches or trainers, and it's honestly one of the reasons why I hate the current state of fitness. But I'm going to address number two first. I know there's going to be a lot of drop off, but I think it's important just to at least give my background, to at least give a little bit of credibility to what I'm going to say. But to keep it very brief, a master's in sport and exercise science. I've published 2 academic papers. I've worked in professional, international rugby and rugby league in 3 different countries for over a decade, essentially just leading these teams as a strength and conditioning coach. Now I'm doing this. My main, brand is Sweet Science of Fighting. It's relatively well known now in the combat sports space. So if you're a fighter, go check that out. And then have this, Lift Big, Eat Big. We acquired this, me and my wife, back in 2021. We loved the old brand, and she is an absolute machine. Commonwealth Games medalist in Olympic weightlifting, CrossFit Games athlete, 6 times karate world champion, competed in 5 worlds, represented South Africa internationally in weightlifting for over 20 years. I mean, she's back squatted 150 at 64 kg body weight, 141 front squat, 120 clean and jerk, 93 snatch, I believe. She's a monster. But which brings me to why I hate fitness. And if you're a subscriber watching this, I know you're probably just looking at this like, fuck you, you want to see Brandon on here again. I get it. But I'm going to keep doing these anyway, because there'll probably be some new people that come along too. And if you're an older subscriber, maybe you'll enjoy my perspective. Who knows? But if you remember back when, Lift Big Eat Big was a big brand in the space, back in 2011-ish, probably I think around when it started, that kind of era was almost that golden age of, I'm not even going to call it fitness content, it was lifting. Fitness, it was around, but it wasn't really a big thing. So back in the day, I'm sure you can relate to this, you would get all your information on forums, like bodybuilding forum, T-Nation forum, maybe even men's health forum at one stage. And then you would have the golden age of YouTube content, which was like the early teens or even late hundreds through to about mid-teens, like 2015, 2016. You'll get raw training footage, Russian weightlifters, like training hall footage, hour-long videos of just training videos, even like super training, like you had the powerlifting, you had weightlifting. I don't think, if I can remember if you had as much bodybuilding content back then. You probably had some, but at least the majority of my algorithm at that time was a lot of weightlifting and a lot of powerlifting and a lot of just strength training. It was really damn cool back then. And a lot of people would be experimenting with things, sharing things, and it was just, the content was just really cool. And then obviously since then, since the rise of all other social media platforms and short form, fitness is now completely different. Now back then as well, if you were in the gym back in those days, it wasn't seen as this trendy thing to do. It wasn't I guess you could call it like, it wasn't, you can say it was a meme because you had Steve Pulcinella with his "Do You Even Lift" meme that got created, but that was kind of like, I don't know, that was different to what it is now. But like if you were in the gym, it wasn't seen as like this normal thing to do. It was kind of like, not that you're an outsider, but it's like you were doing something different than most people were doing. And it was its own little niche thing where if you were into it, you were into it. And if you would meet people in the gym, I still have friends from back in my uni days from the gym where like we were just meatheads, like loved it. Like every day would be in there talking training, maxing out on Christmas Eve, that kind of stuff. It was damn good times. Nowadays, I guess with the social mediaification of it, it's everyone's decided that they're going to make a living through fitness. And as I mentioned at the start, I honestly hate fitness. My career and everything has been in sports performance. Sports performance is my first love. Everything around sports performance, strength sports, you can fall under there too. So that's another love of mine. It's kind of like strength sports and strength training and lifting and performance in that aspect. But just general fitness, I've always fucking hated it. And it's gone to the point where the hate grows stronger every day. It used to be where you would watch lifters or watch people that maybe have achieved something in their career, whether it's as an athlete or as a coach. You would be reading their content. If you're from back then, I would have an RSS feed of like all the blogs for the day, and I would just be reading articles, and you would be reading substance essentially within your content. Whereas now, obviously, you get a 10-second clip. I mean, it's just the way it is now. You get a 10-second clip of, you know, whatever it is, of a coach reacting to someone else, or coach, quote unquote, reacting to some kind of training or talking some shit. And that's pretty much fitness content nowadays. And, you know, it's kind of a sad state of affairs. You've got famous, I guess, quote unquote, fitness people that literally don't even look like they go to the gym, but they take you to the gym and they use it, one, as either an OnlyFans funnel, or two, they are propped up because of how they look, not because of what they know. So you'll see some dog shit content just because someone looks ripped or big or is on steroids. Honestly, the amount of juice that's gone on in this space is unbelievable. It's kind of skewed the perceptions. I'm gonna do another video on that. This will be kind of like a daily ramble. But like the stuff that's going on now, where it's kind of like following people's journeys through their, I guess, training. Look, I understand it's some of the content is alright to watch, but there's a lot of content that is not. It's just random people or general people filming themselves in the gym and honestly doing a pretty shit job of it. And it's just sad when we used to see raw training footage of like Olympic athletes and things like that lifting all the time as well, and you wouldn't have all this bullshit nutrition stuff that people are talking about, and bullshit cults, and everyone's branding themselves as a XYZ coach, like, you know, carnivore guy, mobility guru, and this and that. It's like, like, it's crazy. Like, and I understand people need to pick a niche to get into, but it's usually people picking the niche to then market into versus actually going into where the expertise is. Because a lot of these people don't have any expertise because they haven't been coaching in these spaces. They're just kind of online coaches, and they decided that's going to be their career, so they don't have to work a normal job. So obviously the marketing gets more and more egregious. The social media funnels into their one-on-one coaching or their PDFs or whatever it is, and that's pretty much the money-making funnel. And yeah, it's just shit. Honestly, all of it's just really shit, and it's not going to change. It's only going to get worse, in my opinion. And the unfortunate, I guess, side effect of this is for legit coaches to say they're moving away from professional sport and going on their own. For them to really make it, they have to also join in this game, and it's really sad for like really great coaches. And like I know a lot of coaches in the professional space that are potentially looking at, you know, it's professional sport is a young man's game. Like I would spend, you know, 6 to 8 weeks away on camps. You're traveling all the time. You know, you're moving every few years for different jobs, but you're not just moving to another building. You're moving countries, so you're packing up these. Like it's cool. You know, you get to travel on someone else's dime. You get paid for it. But you know, at some point, once you start to have a family and kids and stuff, it's just not sustainable. And going on your own at least allows you to not have to do all that. But the flip side is you have to market yourself to be able to essentially bring people into what you're doing and the stuff that you're selling. And it's hard for coaches to market because they know there's no one way of doing things. They know that there isn't a best XYZ for this and a best for that, and you have to be doing this. But that's the content that kind of goes viral and brings the people in. And yeah, it's tough. It's tough for those coaches to kind of break in and share the information when all they really care about is coaching. I remember when I was coming up, all I wanted to do was, I don't care how much I make, I just want to coach, which is a very naive young man's view on it. But that is what kind of built my base of knowledge and experience is because it's all I cared about. Reading strength and conditioning content all day, training myself, training my athletes, and just experimenting with things and seeing what worked, seeing what didn't work, evolving my training philosophy over time, and kind of got me to where I am now with how I like to train athletes to perform. You know, a lot of the content now doesn't have that. It doesn't have that substance, doesn't have that depth. And social media's kind of ripped the depth out because a lot of these coaches, quote unquote, and trainers don't have that depth of knowledge. They can't actually tell you what, when, where, why, how. They can only tell you, do this, do that. And it's unfortunate, but that's my little rant. I'll see you again tomorrow to talk more shit. If you enjoyed this, let me know down in the comments. Oh, and if you have questions relating to anything training, nutrition to a small extent, it's not exactly my area of expertise, but if you've got anything, throw them down in the comments. I'll answer your questions in the next video as well.